We are back with episode number 267. There you go, 267.
Wow.
And we're supposed to have 5 guys today, but we're waiting on our guest, George Gatto. Hopefully he'll show up soon. He said he got the link. So anyhow, we'll just go ahead and do anybody got anything they want to say? We'll start with Kev. You got any shout outs or anything you want to talk about before we get into the show?
No, I think I'm pretty good here, except a shout out for my sister. She's doing really good with her cancer recovery, so everything's shrinking and doing good.
That's awesome.
Right on. How about you, John? You got any shout outs you want to do?
Well, I just, as I discussed before, I'm headed out on the road to do merch and so forth with Pentagram here in the next couple of weeks. This weekend, my Mother's Day will be including a lot of driving. And but anyway, check the schedule because they've got a pretty good run that's going to run mostly north and east, and then down the East Coast and end up in Nashville on the 25th. So catch a great show. I know some of the I talked to Timmy, Thrash Metal Timmy, and he may join me in South Carolina, and then the Belmore brothers may join me up in Massachusetts or in Portland, Maine. So we're picking up some of our regular listeners and participants on the show all over But check it out; it'll be well worth it. Has some killer other backup bands and so forth. So and Pentagram has never sounded this good. I don't think. No offense to anything previous.
Steve?
Nope, I got nothing. Let's get going.
Right on. We got George with us here, who was apparently sitting in the green room, and I didn't see him there.
How could you miss him?
Evil never died.
George, but somehow you get stuck in the green room.
They've changed some stuff they've changed some stuff on here, so you actually have to scroll down to see you, and you weren't up in the list with everybody else, so I didn't see it down there. So anyhow, we got lots of people already chiming in. Tony Clem, what's going on? Metal Overkill. Ron Haggerty is hanging on already. We got the I am the number one king. I ain't no poser.
and to answer your question, Tony, yes, we will be at the Milwaukee Metal Fest pre-party.
Right on. So we do need to do our pick of the week. Where's our graphic?
Yeah.
I went ahead and picked the one that I think would be the metal album and the rock album of the pick of the week. One that I think should be in every metalhead's collection, but the self-titled Trouble album, which to me is a metal album. I've heard other people say it's a rock album. I don't care what you think it is. I just think it's a fantastic album. Good music, great vocals, kind of doomy, kind of stoner, kind of in the middle there. Not quite like the first 3 Trouble albums, a bit more of a stoner album than it is a doom album, but still some of that doom stuff going on here. What do y'all think of this one?
They were the precursor. People don't realize they were kind of the precursor for Monster Magnet and all those other bands that started right after with that sound. But I got the album sitting right there. That's one of my 10 favorite records of all time. I love that album. I love Trouble. I love everything that he released, but that's my favorite.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. The first Trouble album is my favorite Trouble album, but that one would probably sit right at number 2. So anyhow, right on. Good to see you, George. Thanks for joining in.
Appreciate you having me.
Got anything you want to add before we get into the show?
No, nothing's going on. Just the same old.
Same old.
Love and paradise.
Jersey Paradise?
Jersey Paradise.
Right
with
on.
The crazy weather and the wildfires and all kinds of crap going on.
Are you anywhere near? Are you near Baltimore?
No, but they had some guy set fire in something down in South Jersey. He set fire to like these what do you call it?
Tesla dealership?
Some wood. He had some kind of wood that he just did it on purpose.
Oh.
And he set all this stuff on fire all over the down. My sister almost got evacuated from her home.
I'd like to shout out the post office, who made sure that this mint Suzi Quattro 8-track tape was completely destroyed and unusable.
Oh wow!
Even though it was packed, very well.
At least they didn't skip it across the driveway.
Oh no!
Like all your Kansas records.
They totally crushed it. So it's worthless. I put it in a little baggie. I'm going to send it off to a buddy of mine who collects 8-tracks, and he refurbishes 8-tracks, and he's like, send it to me anyhow. He goes, He goes, I'll restore it, and he goes, and if I can't, he goes, I'll use the parts for other stuff. So I'm like, right on. Brother Lee's here. Sorry, Noise Spectrum. Right on. So then we're done. Let's get into the show, man. We've got 5 guys, and I'm sure lots to show. I pulled a bunch of records, and I'm sure you guys did too. So what we're talking about
is show again, just so our audience knows what's.
So basically, new bands. I mean, I didn't. I was kind of saying formed into the 2000s or so, and their newest albums, from the last 2-3 years, and albums that we really like from these new bands that we think are, just great stuff. So
I was going to say, it's hard to imagine that the year 2000 was 25 years ago.
Yes, it was. So
and some of those bands, like the early, like I was doing on the Crypt, I was doing a triple thrash threat, international thrash. And I would take the Canadians versus the Germans, the Brazilians versus the U.S., et cetera, et cetera. And I was looking back at some of those preeminent thrash bands, and Metallica was releasing stuff in 83, 84, Death Angel the same, 86, 87. It's insane that it's 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, this will be a fun ride, because people, I think we lose track of some of the new stuff because we're stuck.
We do.
We're a bunch of
and
old
that's
guys.
It was actually a viewer sent me a thing and said, "Hey, you guys should do newer bands." He goes, "You always talk about all these 70s, 80s, and 90s bands. How about some of the newer bands?" So that's where the idea came from.
I didn't pull out the newest albums from these bands. I just picked like 10 or 12 or 15 bands that have been around for the last 15 years.
Yeah, I got as close as I could get to a newer release from a band that the bands that are still active.
His are all Blue Oyster Cult.
Right on.
And finally, we'll talk about Ozric Tentacles or Aerosmith. But anyway,
yes, there's no strict rules. Just kind of a roundabout idea, so we could just show some newer bands. That's all.
Cool.
So yeah, right on. So Damien Hair Metal is joining in. Who else we got joining in with us? So we've got Brian McFadden joining in.
Speaking of Aerosmith, because he brought it up, I don't know if I showed you this, but
oh, nice! You finally got a copy. Score. Yeah. Those things sell for ridiculous amounts of money for some reason.
Yeah, they're going for hundreds of bucks. One of my local shops.
What doesn't go for exuberant prices nowadays?
Yeah, well, they only did one pressing and nobody bought them, but a local DJ or a retired DJ got the whole box of them. He had like 15 copies, so he sold them to all the different record stores. So all the record stores around here had them for about a week. And
right on.
Made a bunch of money. So
right on. Yeah, I bought mine as a new release, so I bought it as for the regular price back when it came out. But right on. So let's get into it. Kev, you want to start us off, and we'll just go around in a circle?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a band from India. In fact, India to me is really a hotbed for really killer metal bands like Against Evil, Garish and the Chronicles, and many others. But I'm going to start off with Kryptos. This is probably one of their first albums they ever put out, called The Coils of Apollonia. And early growly thrash, heavy metal. And their early stuff is predominantly on CD. I think their first 4 are only CD. And their latest one that came out was in 2024 with Decimator. I don't think it's as good as the previous one, but it still has that, it still retains that growly thrash heavy metal sound, but it's just better processed. It's not as raw as the early stuff. It's a little bit more polished, but stuff more. Like I said, more thrashy, traditional metal style. So that's what I have.
Right on.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start with a Russian band called The Restoned.
Nice.
I got the tape because, I bought the tape because they only did 60 of them especially with the orange case, and they go for about $100, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. These guys started playing. They were like a power trio, 3-piece. They started in 2008 and have put out probably 8 records and a bunch of singles and some live stuff. But the Restoned, this is my favorite. This is called Analog. They just released a new EP called Loom, But check them out. They're mostly instrumental. They do add a few extra pieces, some strings and some keyboards, kind of a la Elder, which we'll talk about later on my stack. But anyway, the Restone from Russia, can't go wrong. I would just seriously just go to Bandcamp and try to download their whole catalog because their tapes are impossible to find and they haven't released anything on vinyl. So that would be my recommendation, but highly recommended. Like I said, it's like Robin Trower without vocals.
Right on.
Yep.
You're up,
Steve-O.
Steve.
Am I up?
You're up.
Yep.
So I'm going to start with an
You're-
Italian band. I don't think I've ever seen anybody talk about these guys or show these guys on the vinyl community anywhere. But this is one I just thought the album cover was cool when I bought it like 10 years ago. Now, from what I understand, they kind of went the metal route later on. But this is Italian band Ultraviolence, and I believe this was their first full length Privilege to Overcome.
Killer
That's a good one.
What's that?
Good stuff.
Yeah, really killer thrash. You can find these for I think I got paid like $3 or $4 for these.
I remember when they first came out, and it was like if you weren't on them, and the stuff was gone.
Yeah, they got picked up later on by In the Light, and they started pressing a lot of their stuff. But this is the first full length, just really killer thrash. I mean, and the Ultraviolence. I mean, you can see from the cover what they're going for. It's kind of what you get, just really killer street thrash. So,
Right on. And George, New Jersey
Well,
George.
This band I got into just by mistake, because not mistake, but I had one of those. You could buy 10 CDs for $50 from Headbangers, House Headbangers. I bought the EP, and this album is the only album I have. I think they're full length from 2023. And it's here it is, Bloodstar.
yeah, great.
Oh, that's a good one.
You bet.
Great, excellent album. I didn't look up where they're from, so I didn't do all that. If you guys know, I didn't.
believe they're
have time.
Canadian.
They're from Utah.
Oh, are they? I thought they were Canadian. You might be right.
I think they're from Utah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
pull that one out. I hadn't listened to that one in a while.
Isn't Utah
Yeah,
close to Canada?
The female singer was her. That's her name, Madeline Michelle. What a fantastic voice she has.
Yeah, Salt Lake City.
So, there you go. Great album, though.
They're
So,
actually in the studios doing their second album too now.
oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
I just saw her post something on Facebook within the last couple of days.
Maybe I think maybe I saw the same thing there.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, let's see if I can. All right, I'm gonna go with the band on my shirt, and not the one on my hat. This is not a new band. This is. Saw these guys. Gosh, man. I probably could look real quick. I saw these guys years ago at a club with Warbringer and Suspended and one other band who's I can't think of. Let's see, and Heathen. So it was Heathen, Warbringer, Suspended back in 2022, and I loved them. I thought Misfire were fantastic. I bought their CD. It's probably sitting right behind me somewhere. I had it sitting back there forever, and played that thing to death. And but then they just came back again through New Mexico, and I got to see them opening up for Exodus and Havoc, and picked up their latest album. And really digging this. I played this thing a bunch of times already. Got to meet the band afterwards. Took a picture with them. Got my record signed. And then I realized I bought this one from them at the show. And then I realized, I already bought a copy on. So now I have two because I pre-ordered it. And anyhow, sometimes I do that.
You can send me one.
But yeah, it's just great, straightforward thrash, kind of raw, crunchy vocals, raw, crunchy guitars. I mean, exactly what you want to hear from thrash. You know, these guys are from Chicago, so this is their second full length album, and I believe their label MNRK Monarch Heavy also put out their first album on vinyl too. So it was kind of hard to find because it was just an independent release, but now you can get it through MNRK Heavy. So there you go. I don't know how you pronounce that. MN Monarch Heavy Records. But there's a lot of bands on that label right now. So Monarch Heavy. You guys heard of that one?
Yeah. I just got that yesterday.
Yeah, I remember I saw you show it on Facebook.
Excellent.
Mine, so it should be here this week.
Here's the first album too.
I
That's a good one too.
I should have bought that one when I got that one.
Yeah, I bought it from the band at the show just because I wanted to support the band. They were on the road, and there was literally nobody at their table. There was a line for a mile long to get up to the Exodus table. There was a few people in the Havoc line to get stuff from them. There was nobody in their line, so I had my grandson with me at the show, and me and my grandson and my son went up and hung out at the Misfire, and we all bought shirts and we all bought records, and the band came over and signed everything after First Force and really cool, took pictures. So yeah, I like when bands do that kind of stuff. So anyhow, let's see, where are we at? We're here.
I'm
Nope,
next.
sorry.
No, we're
Kevin.
there.
We go.
All right. Here's a band I don't think we see much of. I know we know these guys, but we don't see a whole lot of them on here.
Them, yes.
I actually thought
This
about
one here's their first release, come out 2016 with Sleepy Hollow, and this one is actually signed. And but that was their first one, and then their latest one, which is Fear City, came out I think 2023.
Yep.
Which they just announced they're working on their fifth album, which should come out I think either later this year or first part of 2026.
And the vocalist, who is the quote King Diamond of the band, he was in the thrash metal band from New Jersey called. Help me out here, come on. What was
Jersey
it?
Dogs. Ripping
No,
Corpse. Deadly Blessing.
I'm gonna look it up because it'll drive me crazy.
Well, it wasn't Overkill.
No, it wasn't over, but it wasn't
Cold
that.
Steel.
That's it. There you go.
Cold Steel.
Cold Steel. Yep, he was in the thrash band Cold
Roy
Steel. So,
Noor is the vocalist.
yeah, Freak Boy was a great thrash album from back in the day. But yeah, I believe they were New Jersey. I believe they are a New Jersey band, if I'm not mistaken. Them.
They're kind of a mix, Germany, United States. So I think they're more based out of the U.S. So
Right on. So let's see if I get this right this time. Boom.
Okay, well, somebody mentioned this in the comments, but Power Trip, and they took a hiatus for a while, but now they're back in business. And I mean, these guys were ascending to great heights before the unfortunate demise of Riley Gales, but they're back in black, as they say, and Power Trip is well worth a listen. This is like a compilation of B-sides and singles. Highly recommend this. Let's see, what is it called? Open Fire, 2008 to 2014, and it comes on a multitude of different colors, clear, blah blah blah. So you can't go wrong with Power Trip. Heavy riffing, and they're freaking awesome.
They kind of have I always kind of, people ask me what they sound like. I always think they kind of have a crossover thrash sound, a bit of a punk edge to their sound.
Their
they're
drummer,
straight up crossover thrash. Yeah.
Their drummer plays in Hatred Surge 2, and he does no double kick. He does speed kicking, with kind of like Ian Pace from Deep Purple, but it's single kick stuff. It's real basic 4/4, but they have some thrashy elements. I mean, Blake Ibanez is a great player, and so I don't know. They're kind of that's what makes them so unique, is they're sort of a hybrid. They're kind of a crossover thrash, but they're actually a thrash, but they're sort of punky.
yeah,
Hard to describe.
So
it's a good combination.
Yeah, no, they're great.
I think Stevie's up next.
So I'm going to go with a local band that has been trudging around here since about 2009, 2010, putting out EPs and splits and singles, and finally got picked up by Prosthetic in, I think, 2018 and released their first full length in 2019. And I'm going to go with Sadistic Ritual.
Good one.
Really killer death thrash. Different songs. Some of their stuff's more straight up thrash, and they'll go into some guttural death metal for the next song. Really killer though. They got 2 full lengths out now. I just saw them with Coroner and Deceased about a month ago, and man, they just absolutely killed it. Got the night off to a killer start. So definitely one I recommend you guys check out.
Man, I wore the corner shirt you bought for me from that show to that Misfire show. You got a lot of comments. Oh, you got to see Corner? Oh, no, I wish. Oh, you got to see Corner? No, I wish. even one of the guys from the band Misfire said something about it. I'm like, no, I wish. You're up, George.
All right, this one is also from 2023, and I saw this on a lot of channels, and they're kind of like, I liked it because they sound a little like Bolt Thrower, Frozen Soul, Clayfield.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure John's got Frozen Soul in his pile there.
Well,
I don't have the first one, but I heard the first one sounds a little more like Bolt Thrower, but this one I really liked it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, actually, this is their demo on vinyl, which on Maggot Stomp Records, which is one of my favorite labels.
That's a great label.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Crypt,
excellent album.
Encased in Ice. Yeah, that's great. We got to see them on the Headbangers boat three times in 5 days. They were just brutal. It just
Wow. I don't go anywhere.
Oh.
Hey,
Save your
I'm
money.
always-
That's
I'm
a highly,
always
that's a
in
highly
here.
recommended thing. Oh, go
Hang
Scott.
on, let me grab another one from the pile here. I got a pile. Let's go with this one. How about Anger Rot? This is their most recent album.
You had
I
sent
think-
me a CD from them once before, and it was great.
I believe this is their most recent album. I don't know. They've got 3 or 4 albums out. I think I have at least 3, if not 4 albums from them. And it's just great, straight up old school death metal. Has a little bit of a melodic vibe here and there, but it's pretty brutal on top of it. So yeah, I wouldn't say they were, they're not doing the, what do you call all those melodic metal bands? The Stockholm, whatever.
Oh, the Stockholm sound.
Yeah, they're not doing that. But yeah, it's just great death metal. I can't. What else to say? Great artwork too. I like their logo too. It's very thrashy looking, very heavy, but it's not like totally unreadable either. Which is being a graphic artist, I kind of dig that kind of stuff as opposed to, the pile of sticks logos that you can't read at all. So yeah, Anger Rot, good stuff, man. Actually, and the reason how I discovered those guys is I was started doing videos on YouTube years ago, and the band got a hold of me. He's like, "Hey, you want to hear our record?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I figured they were going to send me a CD. Nope, they sent me a record. They sent me their very first album. So I've been buying them brand new ever since then. And the mighty Shannon Fry from Avenger of Blood agrees. All right, wait. I'm going to do one more since we got him here. Because
I almost pulled that. I almost pulled Avenger of Blood.
I knew somebody would, and I just pimped him last week, so I figured I'd let somebody else.
I had a feeling Scott was going to pull it, so I didn't pull it.
But Revenge is My Name. The new EP is a must-have. You've got to
That's funny. I
locate
did
a
pull
copy.
I did pull the new Avenger of Blood, but it's in a pile over here somewhere. So I don't know where it's at yet. But yeah, Avenger of Blood, that's another great one. So where are we at? We are with
back to me again. I'm going to go overseas again. I'm going to go with some female-fronted traditional metal from these gals from Sweden, some Burning Witches.
Oh yeah, great band.
So we got we got Anger Rot actually watching the show right now. Interesting enough.
Yeah, this is from 2017. This one is actually signed by the band here. But yeah, their first incarnation here. This one has Sonia Nubis on it, who later went on to form Cobra Spell, I believe. But their first one here, and then their latest one was The Dark Tower, which is just killer. All their albums are absolutely killer, traditional heavy metal and all. But they don't stray too far from what they do good, But,
a lot of labels put together they throw that was the whole premise behind the initial Arch Enemy when they replaced Johan Leva with Angela Gassau. They thought, well, hey, let's put a chick in the band and that'll be more popular, and it was. But she was actually good. And then they replaced her when Angela left with Alyssa
Glues White.
Yeah, and she's phenomenal too. And so it's encouraging to see that they're not just a what do they call it? Something that they just throw out there to try and get to get likes. You know what I mean? Because they actually do have chops. All those chicks.
I think they're in the studios too. I believe doing some new music.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I saw them live last year.
Wow. Yeah.
They were with KK's Priest and LA Guns, which is a weird combo.
That is a weird combo.
Yeah.
But kind of cool.
It was good though. They were good though. The girls can rock.
Am I up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
you're
well, here I'm going to show this for Scott. Say what you want about Pile of Sticks, but Blood Incantation just rules. Then
I didn't pull that.
And,
I knew you would.
I knew you would. Yeah, that's why I didn't either.
They started it. Believe it or not, they started in only 2011. They seem like they've been around forever, but I show you that just to show you this. This is just down the road from us in Houston, Oath of Cruelty. This is Dave of Death Reliac from PLF, who may have the fastest picking hand south of the Canadian border. I mean, I think Dave Carlo from Razor probably is number one, but Dave is pretty close. But this, if you like Sodom with an extra guitar player, this is the record for you. This is on Dark Descent Records out of Colorado Springs, and this thing absolutely shreds. It's a cover by my buddy Sawblade, and I'm sure that I Am Number One King Ain't No Poser, Fraser Dawson has probably got a big smile on his face. But Oath of Cruelty, if you can find their demos, buy them, because they do some of the best cover. Like they do a Sodom medley, they do a Necrophobic by Slayer that may be better than Slayer, and I say that with tongue in cheek. But anyway, Oath of Cruelty, highly recommended, and you can't go wrong.
Right on. So we are on Steve.
So I'm going to go with a little new wave of traditional metal here. This is a band that I hyped up quite a bit when they first came out. I've seen them live a few times. It's always a great show. I say band, it's one guy who records everything and then takes a band out. But it's going to be Chris Black from High Spirits. And man, especially their first 4 albums or so, just killer hooks. Just a really nice throwback to 80s metal, and love this stuff, man. Yeah, there you go.
All right, and we are on, let's see, George.
George.
This is Death Doom band I got into just a couple. This is a 2021 release. Hooded Menace.
Nice.
Oh, dude, they're awesome.
Yeah, I always don't want to have by them, but they were so good.
I saw them at Doom and June about, I don't know, 15 years ago, and they just completely stole the show.
Oh, they've been around that long, huh?
Oh yeah.
Excellent band though. Excellent album. I think they have a new one coming out soon. This is already 2021, so there's got to be a new one coming out soon.
That's one I don't have. I like the cover art though.
Yeah, excellent cover art. Yep.
That's one I have to
look into. They've been around for a while too. I want to say they've been around since like 2005 or 6.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Great
All
band.
right, now it's me. There we go. All right, so I don't know. I've got a pile of crap here. Well, first of all, I did find the Avenger of Blood. It was in that pile, like I said it was.
Buy it.
New EP. It's fantastic. It's super heavy. It's, I mean, right around the speed and intensity of old Slayer with the grit and grind of early Creator. But it's Avenger of Blood. It's not sound like any of those particular bands, but I'm just kind of giving it so you kind of get an idea of what they sound like. So yeah, great band. This is their latest EP. They also re-recorded their first album and it came out last year on vinyl as well. So Avenger of Blood. But that wasn't what I was going to show. I'm going to show this one instead, if I can get to it. Canadian band, and I love this band. I showed them before. This is Beyond Creation, formed in the mid 2000s. These guys I describe them as if Steve Harris played in Yes, and Yes played death metal, that's what Beyond Creation are. Because the bass player in this band is freaking amazing. Steve DiGiorgio is another bass player I put up with these guys. He plays one of I believe he plays one of those. I'm not a bass player, but I believe he plays one of those fretless basses, and he's just all over the place. But the music is just fantastic. I think they have 3 albums out. They're still together. I heard they're working on their latest album, but this one came out several years ago now. It's like 2019, I think. 2019. It's been a while, but I checked online just to see if they're still together, and they are still together. Oh no, that's not really even the cover. This is the correct cover for Beyond Creation. But yeah, very melodic, death metal, kind of proggy. Do you know them, John?
Yeah, it's kind of like Symbolic, or even more so than Death Human, but Death Symbolic would be a good one. Perseverance would be another good comparison. If you like that type of progressive death metal, then you'll probably really like those guys.
All right, you're up again, Kev.
All right, we're going to go down into the Caribbean here with Chemicide. This is their second release, The Art of Retaliation.
Chemicide, yep. Where are they from?
They are from Puerto Rico, I believe. Or
yeah,
Costa Rica.
They have one of their albums.
Costa Rica, I think. But anyway, this is their second album. This one just came out 10 years ago. when I first got into them. There's one prior to this, and their latest one, which came out this year, is Violence Prevails. This
Of
thing
course
is
it does.
probably one of their better ones. Just straight head forward thrash. I mean, 80s sounding. Yeah, these guys have really come a long ways.
Hey, we got one cheer for Beyond Creation from Ron Haggerty. So right on.
Hey.
Okay, who's next? That would be Steve. Right? No.
John.
John, yep.
And then
It
Steve.
is John.
Okay, I'm going to go down a different road. Everyone thinks I'm just heavy all the time, but I like a lot of progressive stuff. And of course, as I mentioned, Ozric Tentacles is one of my favorite bands, and they're not heavy; they're just great. But this band is called If the Trees Could Talk, and believe it or not, they've been around since '99. They've been around a long time, but they
sorry, they don't qualify. Then you're out.
but they released their first album in 2006. So they've been jamming out. But If the Trees Could Talk, some people call this like shoegaze, which is kind of on the. I don't even know how to describe shoegaze. It's kind of like trying to describe prog metal. It's just impossible. But it's very melodic, very atmospheric, but heavy in parts. They downtune. They play on 7 strings. But this is Red Forest, which is my favorite record from them, which came out back in 2019, I believe. But they've been on Metal Blade for years. So, I mean, obviously, I'm not the only one that have seen something in them. But if you're looking for gurgling and gargling and grindcore-ish type stuff, you're not going to find it here. This is way more melodic and way more technical, but I highly recommend them. If These Trees Could Talk, and Red Forest, like I said, is my favorite, and it's mostly instrumental, but there are vocals, and they're very pleasant, and they're not abrasive or whatever. But I can't recommend them enough.
The man in the Megadeth shirt.
So I'm going to go with the band that was kind of the brainchild of another band that we all dig, Exhumed. So a couple guys from Exhumed decided they wanted to do a death tribute band. And they've been putting out some of my favorite stuff for the last 15 years, but had to go with the Mighty Gruesome, who actually have a new album coming out next month. So go out and pre-order it. But man, if you guys like old school death metal the way it should be done, you can't go wrong with any of the releases that Gruesome has put out. They've got, and they're one of those bands that even when they're not active, they're still putting out singles and splits and EPs, and every year or two you get something from them. So definitely worth checking out if you haven't.
They have a real thrash element to them, which is what I really like. It's more back to the old school reason why death metal happened.
Well, and Death, I mean, we think of Death as one of the first death metal bands, but if you go back, it's really thrash. It
is,
and we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Same with Possessed. I mean, that's just thrash. Yeah. What's up, George? You're up.
All right, this is this band's 4th album. It came out last year, and to me, I might be crazy, but I think it sounds like if Motorhead and Sodom had a baby, it'd be Bewitcher.
Bewitcher,
yeah. I saw Bewitcher last year live. They're fantastic.
Yeah, great album. I don't have the first one, but I have all the other 2. Excellent stuff, though. So definitely they have the Motorhead sound to them, but with a little harsher. So that's how I feel, anyway.
Yeah, they just played up in Fargo here recently.
You know who else? Who else has that's kind of Motorheadish sound? And this is hang on, I'll put myself big so you can see.
I love that band.
Overdose?
No, Bat.
Oh, Bat.
This is not what I was going to show. This is actually
and the drummer from DRI got together to form Bat.
Yeah, but I like this band so much. Let me show you how much I enjoy them.
Oh, stop!
Oh, it's a mint copy.
That wasn't nice.
The post office destroyed this thing, man. They literally folded it in half.
Well, you get it in your mailbox.
Yeah, of course.
There you go. Yep.
All right. I got so much stuff here, man. I don't know what to show, but I mean, since you showed some prog, I think I'll show some prog because this is a newer band that I've been into for I don't know, maybe 6 months. They've been around just a few years, but this is the Tangent. And this is their latest album from last year.
That was a good recommendation.
To Follow Polaris, great prog rock. I mean, if you like, the sounds of bands like Yes and King Crimson and gosh, I'm trying to think of who else. There's so many great bands. I mean, early Genesis, Nectar, that kind of stuff. You're probably going to dig this. That's kind of what they're into. Long songs, lots of songs with broken down into parts, but it's all one long song. This is actually, we've had him on our show, but John DeLaurentis, when we did our prog series a few 2-3 months ago, John DeLaurentis is the guy who actually turned me on to these guys, and I've been really into them ever since. So right on. So now we are back to Kevin.
Back to me. Here we are going to go to Greece now with Diviner.
Oh, good one.
Fallen Empires. This is their first album. This one came out, 2019. And then there's one in between there, and then their latest one was Abaton. Just straightforward heavy metal, 80s sounding, but been a while since they've done anything. This one came out, I believe, 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was 2023, so it'd be nice to get some new Diviner. But never see this band hardly ever show it anywhere. But,
I do have some of that. I don't have that particular one, but I do have some other stuff in my collection. All right. We got lots of comments, which is great. Who's up next? That would be
John. Yeah.
I'm going to show 3 because they all kind of came in and it was a huge influence, but Toxic Holocaust.
Yeah.
And Joel is still cranking out records. Municipal Waste. That's another one, and they're still. Then they got a new. In fact, they've split it. They've done other things. Speaking of Bat and Iron Reagan and some other side projects. I know Tony Foresta, the singer, has another side project even. And then one of my all-time favorites, Merciless Death. Like I think I told you the one time when I pimped this thing that I thought this was a throwback record, but it was actually from 2006.
Is that a picture disc?
That is a picture disc signed by the original members. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I have a black. No, they're not. They broke up, from what I understand.
Well, they're still technically together, but it's just Dan and Andy right now. They had a drummer, but he's in another band, and they've been touring all over Mexico and South America. The other band. Geo is his name, but anyway, but yeah, those 3 right there, they sort of go hand in hand because that whole new wave of LA thrash metal that happened in the early aughts, I really dig it because I love thrash.
Same here.
So next up, this was a band that was kind of a blind buy for me. I believe 20 Buck Spin did their first record, and the album looked cool, so I bought it, and I absolutely loved it. I've bought everything that they've released since then. I haven't seen them live yet, but from Denver, Colorado, epic doom band Chemists. Man, these guys are so good. Not a bad track has come from this band. Always killer artwork too. Definitely one you guys got to check out if you haven't.
There's a lot of heavy coming out of Denver.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Black Curse, Blood Incantation, Parallax Occlusion, Feather and Bone, Oryx. That's another one.
And they don't sound alike. That's what I like about a lot of scenes. You start getting bands that sound alike. With Denver, they all have their own.
They all have their own unique sound. Correct.
Right on. So we are there, George.
Giorgio.
All right. This is the only one I have. It's like that's not a real metal album, but it's a hard rock album, and it's the band everyone knows. But their band's new to me. But it's the latest album from the Dead Daisies. Light 'em up. Right. So, absolutely love it. I thought this was a really good one. John Corabi came back in the band because they had Glenn Hughes for a couple albums before this. But I thought this is a really good album. It's not pretty long. It's 10 songs. It's not like it's like an hour. It's like I think like 32 minutes or something. So it's pretty quick too.
Their early stuff is really good too.
What's crazy is they just put that one out like 8 or 9 months ago, and they already have a new one coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
they're cranking them
read
out.
that too.
Right on. Okay, so I've got a pile here, and I just got something in the mail, so I can't say a whole lot about this band. Maybe some of you guys can chime in and say more. I only listened to it once, but this is the new Game Over.
Game
Oh,
Bass.
over.
from Italy. They're freaking
Yeah,
killer.
I see that advertised all over Facebook lately, and
Their first 3 records are just absolutely blistering
yeah,
Bay Area thrash with a little bit of a
yeah.
German twist.
The vocals kind of threw me when I listened to it because I was expecting kind of something, I don't know, a little harsher, and the vocals are kind of clean.
Yeah.
They're kind of almost like shouted vocals. So I'm not saying I didn't like it. It just kind of threw me because I just wasn't expecting it. I mean, stuff like Warbringer and Misfire, they have more of a raspy, thrash style vocals. But yeah, and it's not like like the speed metal bands like Agent Steel or Anthrax where they have a clean vocalist, like where they're high pitched. This guy's a little more mid range. So, but I did dig it. So I just need to listen to it one more time.
More like Slayer,
I'll
where
read it
it's
one time.
screaming instead of singing or growling.
Yeah, kind of like that, exactly.
They
So,
could
anyhow.
be compared to bands like Distillator or Suicidal Angels, even,
Yep.
or Aggression from Spain. But they have a little more melody, but less of the gruff vocal, but not a high pitched thing like
Suicide Angels.
Yep.
So I'm gonna put Kevin up. Hey, Kevin, read this comment before you do.
Rectify, yes, indeed. They just put out a new album. I think I have it right here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Right here. It was this was sent to me out of the blue by Dave Hanchuk, I believe his name is, one of the original members. But one day in the mail, this came in a band called Gutter Creek, which is a side project. These guys are out of Thunder Bay. This thing is really good.
I always love that name, Rectify.
Yeah, I do too. It's phenomenal. I mean, that's their 5th album now, but their earlier stuff, all that is on vinyl, but it's hard to get.
Right on. Yeah, you can show another one. I mean, I kind of forced you into that one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back into the female side again with Chris Pfeiffer with Marta Gabriel, and well, not this one, but this one is the latest one, and this one is one of the early ones. This is the second one. I think her and her husband, I think they own Listenable Records now, if anybody's familiar with that.
Yeah.
But they have a ton of albums out, probably 10 albums out, but good stuff. She just keeps it all traditional heavy metal. I mean, she doesn't stray too far. And kind of like a modern Doro, I would say.
Okay, I saw that TJ Lewis is on board with us, and Forebode, by the way, is back in full swing again, which really makes me excited. So speaking of Forebode, here's someone we can compare to them. This is a band from Mexico called Weed Snake. I don't even know where to start with these guys. This is the heaviest, sludgiest, most doom-like stoner rock that I've heard in a long time, ever since Forebode played in my living room and released their last record.
Yeah, like Sons of Otis.
Yeah, these things, this is highly recommended. Anything by Weed Snake is great, but this is their most recent album, the Grimorum Cannabarium. This thing is an absolute crusher. If you can find it, buy it. Couldn't recommend it enough, especially if you're into heavy sludge or whatever. But yeah, so this is my shout out to TJ Lewis, because this is the Mexican version of Forebode, and I can't wait to hear the new Forebode stuff, by the way.
Right on. So we are on Steve. These pictures just kind of jump around sometimes. You're up, Stevie.
So I'm going to go with, I believe they're from Richmond, Virginia, but we were talking about crossover thrash. And when I first got into Power Trip 7 or 8 years ago, somebody told me I got to check out this band. And I did, and I was hooked, and I bought everything as soon as it came out. But if you guys are into just really aggressive crossover, check out Enforced.
Oh, yeah, good one.
Fantastic. Not a bad release. I really wanted to. I believe they toured with Power Trip at one point. I thought that would be like the perfect show, those two bands together. But their last album that just came out maybe last year. I think it was fantastic too. So just really killer crossover.
Right on. Let's see. We are on George.
All right. This is a death metal band. I think it came out. I think it's the only album they have. It came out 2 years ago. I got to read the spine because I can't read the front. It's called Hibernus Mortis, the Monoliths of Cursed Slumber. Anyone?
Yeah,
I've
heard of them.
never. I haven't. So you get one on me.
They're crushing.
Yeah, absolutely. Very guttural, just crushing death metal. So
You could compare them to like Mortuus or Mortiferum or Phrenolith. They all kind of fit into that same vibe. They actually do have some underlying melody, like Scott was saying, but they're just absolutely heaviest crushing sound you can make. It's incredible. That's a very good band. Good pick.
Thank you.
Right on. All right, so my next one up is this. I've been pimping this band for a while now. I absolutely love them, but this is the latest studio album from Patriarchs in Black, which of course features a couple of guys that you might or may not know. On the back here, I'll show the pictures. So there's Dan from Hades, and then the drummer. His name is
Johnny Kelly.
Johnny Kelly, who played in
Typo Negative.
Typo Negative, Quiet Riot, among others. So
yeah,
but yeah, they've got 3 full-length albums out. This being the latest one, that being the sophomore, that being the debut, and then they also have out an EP, which came out earlier this year. This is the Covered in Black EP. It's a 6-song EP of 5 covers and 1 original track, and then they've got a brand new a new album coming out this year, and I had a picture of it right here, and I don't know what I did with it, so sorry. But anyhow, yeah, Patriarchs in Black. I mean, I've got like 3 of their shirts now, and yeah, they're freaking fantastic. I don't know how to describe them other than they're very slow and doomy, a lot of 70s influences, but still very heavy. And they don't have a vocalist. They have different vocalists on every album. They have 5 to 6 different vocalists on every album, including DMC from Run DMC, who sings on one of their albums, and he's good. He's fantastic. Yeah. So anyhow,
all right, we're gonna go to the Bay Area with Hellfire here, and free again. I was kind of introduced to Metal Masses, which was their first album. I think what came out 2016, I think. Yeah, and this one was 2017. But they've been kind of quiet as of late. I think last one was 2023. So hopefully something. And they're on if you're familiar with Riding Easy Records, great label. A lot of different stuff on that label. But check them out. Kind of heavy metal, maybe a little speed metal, maybe a little crossover at times, but damn good band.
Yep.
So I thought I had this. There's the new album cover in the new album. They got these little 8.5 by 11 or 8x10, whatever they are, promo pictures that they're sending out to people on their mailing lists. And they sent me a pile of them. So this one actually just pulled out of a record I've got going to be sending to Kevin. So you're up.
Oh. Well, I'll get this one out of the way because I really dig them. Peeling Flesh. They started in 2021.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, and like I said on the crypt when I played them the first time, they're either your worst nightmare in death metal or they're your greatest discovery. But they actually have a turntable guy, and they do hip hop flavored death metal, and this is freaking brutal. I can't even. Once again, they're kind of a hybrid. It's hard to describe them. You just have to hear them. And if you don't like rap, it doesn't matter. I don't care. Fight me in the parking lot. This thing will tear your head off. This thing is so good. So Peeling Flesh, I actually have the first. It's a double album with all their demos and all their B-sides and all their 7-inch stuff. onto two records, but this thing is absolutely killer. So Peeling Flesh, keep an eye out for them. They're working on new material. They're from just up the road in Oklahoma City, of all places. But once again, proving that metal has no bounds. It's not just for a certain race of people or a certain country. The tentacles of that stretch out to everyone.
I mean, to me, I think if rap can be in metal if it's done right. I have an album from a band called Boom Docs who does it's killer stuff. I mean, it's straightforward heavy metal, but done with rap vocals, and I mean, it fits perfectly.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of there's a lot of similarities between how metalheads used to basically do DIY. That was the way they got the message out by tape trading and so forth. Very similar to the hip hop world. Yeah. Where guys were, Master P used to be one of my landscape customers, and I watched him literally working out of the trunk of his car and giving out demo tapes and demo CDs until he just worked himself into being a millionaire. I mean, it's pretty admirable. But there is, I think I mentioned to you that I talked to Lil Wayne one time, and he said it's coming. He says, don't be afraid of it, but it's coming. Where hip hop, there's going to be a melding of hip hop and heavy metal, and Peeling Flesh is
it started, no doubt.
That's exactly where it is, and that whole idea. I mean, I was thinking about the Exhorter, the Law, how funky and freestyling that was. That almost had some funky elements to it. Say what you want about Korn and Limp Bizkit and Deftones, but they all had that funky kind of jazzy vibe to them, which is all moving towards the hip hop vibe, because hip hop is there's another one, Biohazard. They've been doing it longer than as long as I can remember. So it's coming, guys. But Peeling Flesh, they're at the crest of the wave, and they are really, really good. If you have a chance to see them, don't miss it. Go see them.
You're up, Steve.
We're running out of time, so I'm going to run through 3 of them real quick. But this first one, I love epic metal and the swords and sorcery metal, but there's a really fine line between it being really good and being really cheesy. It's razor thin. Yeah. And there's a band from Austin, Texas that's been pulling it off for about 12 years now and just killing it. And it's Eternal Champion. This is their first full length.
Oh yeah,
Higher. Fantastic band, fantastic album. They're another band that I think all the members are all in like 3 other bands as well. Really killer.
Quiet lately.
If you guys like epic metal, definitely check them out. From Sweden. This is the best thing that this band has released, but they don't have a bad album. I like all of them. They're dipping more into the 70s now, but they've got that psychedelic, sludgy, hard rock, and it's Graveyard from Sweden. And
great band.
This is in blues. You should have this in your collection. This is just fantastic. It kind of revitalized the genre, and a bunch of bands started putting out similar stuff after this. And then last but not least, this band, I like all of their albums, but this album was the one. Somebody told me, hey, have you heard this band? It's kind of like death metal with a little bit of 70s Bowie mixed in it. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then I listened to the album, and it became my album of the year it came out. But this is Where Owls Know My Name from Rivers of Nile. This is a 10-star record. If you guys haven't checked this out, it's just fantastic.
Yep, got that one.
They got a new one out too.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this one. We did our albums of the year when you had me on the first time, but Oxygen Destroyer.
Dude, I love that record.
I love it so much. I bought the first 2 albums, so I really enjoyed it. It's such a strange meld of Godzilla and metal. It's just very strange, but it's so good. It does so well.
Check Bandcamp. They just released the first 2 albums on vinyl, and they're pretty cheap. They're like $20 plus shipping.
Oh, that's cheap.
Getting a lot of praise for Eternal Champion in the credits.
The first one is hard to see nowadays.
All right, I'm gonna do the same as Steve. I'm gonna run through a bunch real quick. But anybody know Firewolf? This is their 3rd album, I believe. The guitar player in this band, whose name is Nick Layton, He plays in another band, which I'm going to show in a second as well. But this is just, I don't know, people call it power metal, but to me, it just sounds like straightforward, American heavy metal.
I agree with you on that. I don't think it has a lot of power into it. I mean, it's just kind of what you're describing.
Yeah, it's kind of melodic at times, but it's just great heavy metal, great vocals, lots of big hooks, big bass and drum sound, and great stuff. But he also is the guitar player for this band, which I absolutely love. This is their first album. It's called Reign of Glory is the name of the band. All Will Bow is the name of the album. Came out on vinyl and CD. And their brand new album, which is called Slingshot, is coming out this summer. So I will be pre-ordering that for sure. And but yeah, these guys, similar, straightforward heavy metal, very melodic. But on this first album, they had Rabah Kabasari on vocals, who is one of my favorite vocalists. He sang in Die Happy, he sang in Red Sea, among others. The guy is just he reminds me of Ian Gillan. He just has that style of vocals, and he can just punch it out. On here, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Glenn Hughes at times as well. So it's kind of a mixture of Ian Gillan and Glenn Hughes, if you can picture that. But the new album has a new singer on it. Robin Scott had some medical issues, so they got Mark Bowles singing for him. Mark Bowles, who sang for Yngwie Malmsteen, and who else did he sing for? He sang for Ted Nugent for a while. He sang with Uli Jon Roth for a while. But this is also Mark Bowles. This is his new album, The Soul Sign. And Bjorn England is one of the, main guys in this band, who was the bass player. That dude's played in all kinds of bands as well. Dio's Disciples. He played with Yngwie. He played with Quiet Riot. He played with a bunch of different bands. But this is more melodic. I would describe this more as a hard rock. This is like right up Metal Rob's. If you were listening to Metal Rob's channel, this would be right up his alley. What was that band from Australia we were really into, John?
Stone Trip.
There you go, Stone Trip.
They have a new record out.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, do you have it?
No.
Oh, but we need to get it.
I just saw that they're getting ready to release it, and I've been spinning their first full length for.
Their first full length was great too. Matter of fact,
that's what I used to test on my audio systems.
I was going to pull the Stone Trip, but I thought you would. So anyhow, the Soul Sign is great. So is this Reign of Glory, and then I'm going to show you one more. This is power metal, but this is Severed Angel. This is their third album. You know these guys, Kevin?
Yeah, that is their third.
Yep, this is definitely power metal. This is U.S. power metal.
Yeah.
It's only been out about a month. This is actually on. The first two weren't on my label, but this one's actually on my labels. But I'm not pimping it because it's on my label. I'm pimping it because it's really, really, really good. Did you get the new one, Kev?
I don't have that one quite yet. No. All right, I'm gonna do two.
Go for it.
New releases from this year. Last one will be a really good one. Lady Beast, The Inner Alchemist. This thing really, to me, this is their best release to date. They've got 5 albums out. This is kind of a continuation of the Vulture's Amulet, which kind of leads into the Inner Alchemist. The songwriting, the guitar playing, leads in, leads out are just fantastic on it. Definitely pick it up on My Dying Victims Records. Sorry about the sun. And to me, I don't rank albums very high as far as 10 out of 10, but I do have a 10 out of a 10 album right here. Void. This thing is an absolute killer album. I was listening to this today and reading the lyrics to go along with it, and this thing just absolutely doubled my massive intake of this band here. I don't know. I don't go Google on bands a lot, but this band I do. Fantastic stuff.
He was going Google on it, which is the reason I had to pick it up.
You can get it over at Shadow Kingdom Records. I think you can only get it in black. This one I have is on the orange, though.
Yeah, this is
I do have the
Horrors of Reality. I'm sure it's black. I would have ordered the black anyhow, regardless. So, all right, who's up? Steve, right? No, I'm sorry. It's you. There you go.
Okay, I don't know who the cowboy is, but welcome to the show. And I couldn't agree with you more that there's so many killer, like a Nithing, Cryptworm, Spirit Possession, Ulthar, especially that. I think I pimped that one double cassette release that they put out. But so yeah, I mean, you could include Worm, Wharf Lurch, some of those other heavy bands. But I'll just run through these last three, and I should have pulled Earthless, but I forgot. But Earthless is another great band that's more recent. Elder. This is a top 20 album for me. This is the Gold and Silver Sessions. I actually have it on gold vinyl, which is just fun, but doesn't have to be on gold. It's got King Buffalo. Here's another one, like a power trio from New York. And I really love Longing to Be the Mountain. They're very atmospheric, three-piece stoner rock. And then here's another Russian band, Weed Pecker. Weird name, great band.
I'll take that name.
You said a track or two on them comp.
Yeah, actually, I have, and I've got a couple more coming your way there, Kevin. But this is the first one. This is their most recent one. The Stream of Forgotten Thoughts. It's Weed Pecker 1, Weed Pecker 2, Weed Pecker 3, and then all of a sudden they release the one that says The Stream of Forgotten Thoughts. Oh, I guess it does have a number there, number 4.
I was listening to some of that this winter, and that Weed Pecker came on when I was walking, and it would just kind of mesmerized me.
Yeah, they're really, really good. All those are highly recommended. I kind of dig, guys, the power trio, because there's just nowhere to hide. You just have to be good at what you're doing. And Weed Peckers from Poland. Oh, okay. Well, I got them off a Russian label, so maybe that's where I made the mistake. But anyhow, thanks, Doug Zent. That's a guy right there. You need to pay attention to his. He does an Instagram and a Facebook. Like, he just puts out these little recommendations. But in fact, Doug, put your info, how to contact you in there, because I have probably a dozen of his recommendations in my collection. But anyway, not death metal, not heavy metal, not thrash, but all killer rock records.
Any more, Steve?
Yeah, I got 3 more real quick. Actually, 4 more technically. But so I'll just show these first couple real quick, because we've talked about these bands a lot, and we've had members of this band on. Madros.
Oh yeah, Madros.
Guys like LA Thrash. This is more tech thrash. It doesn't get much better than this. Tanner hasn't had a bad album. Everything he's released has been fantastic.
Their last studio album is still one of my favorites.
Yeah,
their
debut is one of my favorites. I mean, he doesn't have a bad album.
And by the way, if you need a copy on vinyl, I have extra copies of vinyl, and just message me, do whatever, and I can get you copies.
Next up, we got Metallum Evangeli from Ritual Servant from South Carolina.
Yep.
Really killer thrash. Love these guys. Still play. It's been out. When did it come out? 2019. I still play this at least once every couple months.
Yeah, the new album came out last year too, right?
Yeah, the new album. I don't think the new album is as heavy though. I think it's more. There's still thrash. I think they went more the metal route as opposed to the thrash of the first one.
That's what Patrick Best from Prowler, right?
Yes, Patrick Best from Prowler, exactly.
Yeah. From the UK, another epic metal band. Their third album was my album of the year when it came out, but it's Witch Hazel. Really killer band. Check them out. And then last but not least, unfortunately, this band broke up when the drummer quit the band. I believe it was the drummer. When a lot of the new wave of traditional metal bands were going more the new wave of British heavy metal route, or the 70s Thin Lizzy sound, this band was going more the occult route of Black Sabbath and Witchfinder General and those other bands. And I'm going to go with Black Trip from Sweden.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, they do not have a bad release. They did 2 full lengths, a bunch of singles. They released a couple singles and another full length under the name Void, spelled VOJD.
Black Trip, yes.
And then there's been nothing from them since about 2019. They're not split up, but they're not doing nothing either. But man, they don't have their stuff is all 10-star stuff.
Yep.
And that's it for me.
They kind of remind me of a band called Natur. I think they only did 2 albums.
Yeah, I don't know them.
Right on. You're up, George. You got
2 quick ones. First one is Manimal. Armageddon. It's kind of like Circulator Judas Priest with very, very modern production. Maybe a little too modern, but that's what it reminds me of. But not a bad. They wear makeup. It's kind of a weird band, but they're pretty good. And Oluna, Fever Dream. They used to be they really started as a dual metal band, but they're more commercial now. But I love the girl's voice. Cyan Greenaway is her name, and just love all their albums. So Oluna, Scene, Fever Dream. That's it.
Right on. Oh, let's see. That would see if I can get us back to something where you can see all of us. There we go. Yeah, I had a few more too, but we'll just skip. But I got to mention this one.
I didn't pull them because I knew you would. That's why I pulled.
I absolutely love this band. They are such a unique. They're a thrash band, but they're so freaking unique. Yeah, right.
And didn't Ryan from Motivic, didn't he record with Ritual Servant too?
He recorded a lot of the solos on the new Ritual Servant, not that first one.
I knew he was connected somewhere.
But Ritual Servant's actually got a whole new band now. I don't think Ryan's playing with them anymore. Although Ryan did just record an EP with Nina Lopez from The Lead, the punk band The Lead. She just released a new EP with Ryan's playing all the guitar on it, and I'm looking forward to hearing that. I haven't heard it yet, but anyhow, this is their second album. I love Motivic. They're a very unique band, but they're definitely a thrash band. So, yeah, that's it. So yeah, we're way over time. So I apologize for anybody who was worried about that, but that's it for.
Do we look like we're worried? No.
Yeah, episode. We're talking about people watching, but yeah, episode number. What we're on 267. So let me get to these things here. So you can find Kevin on YouTube at Old Metal Rocker 65, who is now 66, I believe. Is it Old Metal Rocker 65 or is it 66 still?
66.
So I need to fix the little thing on here. So, but anyhow, and you can follow Steve on YouTube at Harmless Rebel 868. You can also find him on, all the other places too, Facebook, and I think he's really,
Instagram.
Yeah, and he's real big on Grindr, I think. You can find Dusty. Where's John at? Where's Ron here? Here's John. You can find John Carcass John on Instagram at Carcass John Art. He is also a DJ on
128 DB Rock, The Crypt.
Yep.
And
you can find him and
Carcass
Metal Rock
John's Alter Ego.
There you go. George, where can people find you on YouTube?
George G's Room of Rock, and also GTR Rock Realm with Ron and Tim Thrasher. We do a weekly show.
Right on. And you can find me on Instagram at No Life to Metal, or you can find me on YouTube at Scott Waters or No Life to Metal. Do a search on either one of those, and it should bring me up. But that's it. So appreciate everybody watching. We had I didn't get every comment up, and I apologize. I try to keep up with them, but yeah, I can't post all of them, and a couple of them were a little vile, so I didn't post those ones. So apologize for that too. Anyhow, that's it for episode number 267. You know how we do it. Metal will prevail. And then this is when I leave y'all hanging and looking like silly.